Shredded iceberg lettuce supplied by Taylor Farms and sold to some Taco Bell restaurants has been linked to the multi-state outbreak of the stomach bug cyclosporiasis. There are nearly 7,000 confirmed cases in 34 states, including Washington, and another 5,100 additional unconfirmed cases. The illness causes fatigue, fever, and intense gastrointestinal distress. On Capitol Hill Wednesday, the president's nominee for CDC director was asked why the agency last year stopped its programs tracking the disease.
Is there any scientific or medical justification for CDC having eliminated mandatory reporting of that parasite?
Senator, this is the first I've heard of that. Cyclospora, as you know, is a terrible, terrible disease, as you mentioned.
Taco Bell nor Taylor Farms has commented on this yet today. Officials in Michigan say doctors typically see fewer than 50 cases each year. For more on this, let's bring in Dr. Ferric Fang with UW Medicine. Thank you so much for joining us, Doctor. Appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about this. Officials have potentially linked this illness now to that iceberg lettuce. We've also heard talk of other lettuces and salad greens. So between fresh lettuce, prepackaged greens, and other produce, what should people be doing to stay safe?
Well, it's interesting that this particular farm has been implicated because they were also implicated in 2013 with an outbreak of Cyclospora involving packaged greens. I think we have a pretty good understanding of how produce can get contaminated, and packaged greens are particularly at risk because they can be contaminated at the stage where they're cut, where they're washed, and then packaged in the field. And once produce is contaminated, it's very difficult to get the parasites off. They're very tiny. They're about a 1/100th of a millimeter. And so they can get into little crevices, and produce often is rough. If you really drill down on it and magnify it, you can see there are lots of little nooks and crannies where they can get stuck. So I think the recommendation is that you're safer getting your lettuce from a head of lettuce, discarding the few leaves on the outside, and then washing the inner leaves thoroughly before using them. That's going to be lower risk than taking greens or shredded lettuce that have already been prepared for you, even though it's very convenient to get greens that way. You're more likely to have contamination with various foodborne pathogens, not just Cyclospora, but there have been E. coli and Listeria and other problems that have been associated with these products.
Well, and I think I want to ask a little bit more about that with the prepackaged greens, because as you mentioned, the convenience, so many people have them. And part of the reason they're convenient is people feel like they don't need to wash them. If you have those bags in the fridge right now, if you wash it again, is that good enough? Or are you saying that just those little nooks and crannies, it's just too much?
Well, you know, we have really hundreds and hundreds of foodborne outbreaks every year, and a lot of them are very small. Some of them are not even probably recognized. And so there's no way, eating fresh produce is very healthy for you. There's no way to completely reduce that risk to zero. I do think in a non-outbreak setting, the risk is pretty low. And if you wash the greens after before you prepare them to eat them, I think you can lower the risk even more, but it's not going to be zero. The only way to really get rid of these things completely is to use produce and cook them, because high temperatures will kill the parasite. But of course, that's not practical for things like lettuce.
What do you think it'll take for this outbreak to end? And then I'm curious, too, if you just have anything you'd like to see to control outbreaks, because as you mentioned, we do have quite a few of them every year.
Yes, well, I think it's very, very important to continue to monitor these pathogens, and that's why a lot of infectious disease experts were very concerned when the CDC announced earlier this year that they were going to stop monitoring a variety of foodborne pathogens. I think it'd be very important to resume that again. And hopefully once we have a permanent director of the CDC named, we can resume that. Even that is not, 100%, but if you can recognize when outbreaks are occurring earlier, you can try to identify what the source is. Cyclospora is particularly difficult because it can't be cultivated, and the incubation period from when you ingest the parasite and when you start to get symptoms can be long. typically a week, but it can be as long as 2 weeks. And so when you're trying to trace back and see where someone might have acquired a foodborne pathogen, not everybody can remember what they've eaten in the past 2 weeks. And I think that contributed to the challenge of this particular outbreak. The information is preliminary, but it is pointing to a specific source of shredded iceberg lettuce distributed to Taco Bell in 5 states, not including Washington. And so I think that this particular sizable outbreak shouldn't be of much concern to people in Washington state. I think it's limited to Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, West Virginia, and Kentucky, according to the information I have.
All right, well, that is good to hear. No one wants to wind up with the symptoms that this brings. Dr. Ferric Fang, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining us today.
Great to talk to you. Thank you.